A lot of people out there, a lot of Bud haters out there, they're making it seem like Bud hadn't fought nobody before this Shawn Porter thing. That's their argument. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. You hear it over and over and over again like a broken record. So one thing we're gonna have to do here is we're gonna have to go through the credibility of some of the fighters on Bud's resume. And we're gonna have to compare it to Shawn Porter, because I don't believe that even Shawn Porter has a good resume. Shawn Porter's a rough and rugged fighter that's gonna give Bud a tough fight. I don't believe that he's necessarily the most credible fighter on Bud's resume up to date. Okay, and let's go. All right, I know I'm gonna trigger some people because there's some people that's been running with this argument for a while now. So I know I'm gonna trigger some people. So here go the box rec up here. Got box rec pulled up here for you. You know what I mean? So the argument is, the question is Shawn Porter Bud's most credible fight, right? Shawn his most credible fight? Well, I don't know. You know, Shawn is what, a two-time world champion at this point? Two-time world champion, only been at one division. Okay, but is Shawn more credible than a unified champion? A unified champion like Julius Indongo? Julius Indongo was a unified champion. That's something that Shawn Porter has never done. Maybe you might be one of those people who say belts don't matter, but if you are one of those people, then what matters? The resume? Who he's lost to? The amount of times that he's won the belt? A two-time world champion versus a unified world champion, because that's what Julius Indongo was at 140 pounds. So Shawn's never been unified. So how does that make? So how is he more credible than Julius Indongo, who was a unified champion? Got some good wins, but which one of those wins makes him more credible than Julius Indongo, a unified champion at 140 pounds? Shawn has won 2 different belts at 2 different times, okay? And that's about the most that he's accomplished. Every time he went to become unified, he was always beaten. He got beat by Earl Spence. He got beat by Keith Thurman. So what makes him more credible than Julius Indongo? Has Shawn ever been a unified champion? I just need to know that. I mean, can you really name at that point in time, not right now, but at that point in time at 140, could you name 10 fighters in the top 10 at 140 pounds? You probably couldn't, so you wouldn't even know who's credible and who's not credible at 140 pounds anyway. Mango Juice 07 says, I mean, damn, this is Bud's 3rd division. I mean, what more can Bud do? He defeated, for Christ's sake. Absolutely. Absolutely. Talking about Olympics, right? If you consider somebody's amateur background part of their credibility, if you consider that, right? You say, okay, somebody's amateur pedigree is what makes them credible. Why not 2 Olympic gold medalists in Yuriorkis Gamboa and Felix Diaz? Both of them got gold medals in the Olympics. Does Shawn Porter have any gold medals? What makes Shawn Porter more credible than those dudes? Rongiri was an Olympian and a gold medalist in the 80s, but lost to Buck Smith. What does the Olympic gold medal mean? I mean, that could happen to anybody and anything. You can win a belt and then lose to somebody. What does that mean? Because you lost to somebody. What does that mean? It don't mean nothing. We always talk about how losses don't mean anything, right? I get that there are levels to it, right? Because you shouldn't be losing to people that you're supposed to beat. I get that there are levels to it. But if you lose, does that mean that you're not credible per se? No, that doesn't mean that you're not credible. And what I'm saying here is, I'm not saying that Shawn Porter's not a credible opponent, but I'm asking the question, what makes him more credible than Julius Indongo, a unified champion at 140, a Felix Diaz and a Yuriorkis Gamboa, 2 guys that have won Olympic gold medals? At Terry Smoot, let's read some more of the comment. At Manny G, Bud lost to Danny and Wait, Bud lost to Danny and Saddam Ali and Ugas in the amateurs. Okay. Even Bud hasn't gotten an Olympic gold medal. You feel me? Even Bud don't have a gold medal. So that goes to show you that winning a gold medal gives a fighter a certain level of credibility, because even some of the best fighters that you can name off the top of your head fought in the amateurs and were not able to achieve a gold medal. You know what I mean? Do you feel me? And here goes another thing. How many divisions has Shawn Porter won a belt in? Right? How many divisions has Shawn Porter won a belt in? Because Amir Khan won belts in multiple divisions. Yuriorkis Gamboa won belts in multiple divisions. Ricky Burns won belts in multiple divisions. So what makes Shawn Porter more credible than those guys? And then here's another thing for you, right? What makes Shawn more credible than a guy who's undefeated? So all you dudes who was talking about all these dudes who Terence Crawford has fought, and you know what I mean, who Shawn Porter has fought. Oh, he fought this dude and he fought this dude. What makes those dudes more credible than a guy who has not lost? Let's look at how many people on Terence Crawford's resume who have not lost. Egis Kavalaskis, and I believe he's an Olympian as well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe I think he's an Olympian. Either way, this dude was 21-0. He was 21-0 when Bud fought him. What makes Shawn Porter more credible? What? The fact that he's won a belt twice in one division, but he has 3 losses, that makes him more credible than Egis Kavalaskis. What about Jose Benavidez Jr., who was 27-0 when Bud fought him? What makes Shawn Porter more credible than this dude? The fact that Shawn Porter won a belt 2 times in a division, but Jose Benavidez was 27-0 when Bud fought him. What about Jeff Horn, who beat Manny Pacquiao? This dude beat Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao. 18-0 when Bud fought him. What makes Shawn Porter more credible than Jeff Horn? I need to know these things, y'all. Jeff Horn held the belt just like Shawn Porter held the belt at 147 pounds. Jeff Horn held the belt too, held the WBO, and he beat Manny Pacquiao. That's a more credible win than anything that Shawn Porter has on his entire resume. And you can sit here and say till you blue in the face, okay, Shawn Porter, he ain't beat Manny Pacquiao. He lost to Manny Pacquiao. At the end of the day, when Bud got in the ring with Jeff Horn, he was an undefeated fighter that beat Manny Pacquiao. Point blank, period. End of discussion. What makes Shawn more credible than Jeff Horn? What makes Shawn more credible than Julius Ndongo, 22-0, unified champion at 140 pounds? What makes Shawn more credible than this dude? What makes him more credible than Julius Ndongo? I need to know. What makes Shawn more credible than Victor Postal, 21-0? Oh, sorry, 28-0. Sorry about that. Victor Postal, 28-0. WBC champion of the world at 140 pounds. Danny Garcia ran from him. Dudes ain't want to fight him. What makes Shawn Porter more credible than Victor Postal? Huh? I need to know. I need to know the answer to these questions. Yuriorkis Gamboa. What makes him more credible than Yuriorkis Gamboa? Multiple weight world champion, 23-0 Olympic gold medalist. He was undefeated when Bud fought him. That's what a lot of motherfuckers remember. Yuriorkis Gamboa was an undefeated fighter when Bud stepped into the ring with him in 2014. This was a dangerous fight for Terence Bud Crawford at the time. A lot of people were picking Gamboa to win. Some of you dudes probably ain't gonna remember that, but those is just facts. And then this dude, Q Moff, he was an undefeated dude. He was 16-0. You know, I don't really know his history per se, but Bud beat this dude. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 undefeated fighters that Terence Crawford has fought in his career. What makes Shawn Porter more credible than the 6 undefeated fighters that Terence Crawford has fought? I need to know. You know what I'm saying? I need to know. Terry Smooth Jr. says Tank Davis and Devin beat Gamboa after Bud beat him. After Bud beat him. You know what I'm saying? He was beaten first by Bud. The danger is when you fight an undefeated fighter. That's when a fighter is the most dangerous because their confidence is riding high. They never lost before. They're usually at their prime when they're undefeated. They're usually at their best. They got the most confident. Their mindset is usually the sharpest. They never lost. They don't know what it feels like. They got that extra fight in them when they undefeated. So Tank and Devin beat Gamboa after Bud, and years after Bud, I might add that at that too as well. You know what I'm saying? Terry, I'm not saying that a gold medal makes you unbeatable. I'm not saying that that's what it is. What I'm saying is a gold medal gives you a level of credibility as a fighter. When you can go to the Olympics and you can win a gold medal, when you come into the pro ranks, you have a certain level of credibility. Okay? When you're undefeated, you have a certain level of credibility. When you're a world champion, you have a certain level of credibility. When you've won multiple belts and multiple weight classes, you have a certain level of credibility. Yeah, we looking at resumes too. That counts. That also gives credibility, but it's one of maybe 5 different things that give credibility. At the end of the day, and my question remains the same. What makes Shawn Porter more credible than these other dudes? How is Shawn Terrence's most credible opponent? Because when people start saying that you know, who has Bud fought and he ain't fought nobody, you know, we really got to talk about